Picture this. You're a U.S. Navy sailor on a destroyer in the middle of the Pacific. You've trained for missile attacks, submarine threats, even nuclear war, but nothing, absolutely nothing prepared you for what's coming at you right now. A wall of water, 7 stories high, moving at 50 miles per hour, and it appears out of nowhere. This isn't science fiction, this is a rogue wave, and according to veteran sailors, it's the most terrifying thing they've ever faced at sea. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you why the United States Navy fears these invisible monsters more than enemy warships, and the disturbing reason they're happening more often than ever before. Stay with me, because what you're about to discover might change how you see the ocean forever. Let me take you back to February 2013. The USS Chosin, a guided missile cruiser, is conducting routine operations in the North Pacific. Suddenly, without warning, a wave estimated at 60 feet tall, that's taller than a 5-story building, slams into the ship's port side. The impact is so violent that it bends steel railings. Equipment weighing thousands of pounds is torn from the deck and hurled into the ocean. One sailor describes it as being hit by a freight train made of concrete. But here's what makes this truly terrifying. Their radar saw nothing. Their weather systems gave no warning. The ocean surface looked normal just seconds before. Now you might be thinking, can't ships just detect these waves? That's the nightmare, they can't. Unlike missiles that show up on radar or submarines that ping on sonar, rogue waves are the ocean's perfect ambush. They strike without warning, and they strike with the force of a tactical nuclear weapon. In fact, a single rogue wave carries more kinetic energy than most of the missiles in a Navy arsenal. Let that sink in for a moment. So what exactly is a rogue wave? Scientists define it as a wave that's at least twice the height of the surrounding waves, but that definition doesn't capture the true horror. These aren't just big waves, they're physical impossibilities that break the rules of ocean physics. Normal waves roll. They swell and fall in predictable patterns. You can see them coming, and ships can navigate through them. Rogue waves don't roll, they wall up. Imagine you're looking at normal 20-foot waves. Suddenly, a 60-foot wall of water materializes in front of you with the steepness of a cliff face. Your ship doesn't have time to climb it. You hit it head on, but it gets worse. While normal waves push water, rogue waves have what scientists call a hole in front of them. A sudden depression that can drop your ship 30 feet in 2 seconds. Your vessel falls into this hole, and then the wave crashes down on top of you. It's like the ocean opens a trapdoor beneath your ship, then drops a building on you. The USS Ramapo encountered one of these monsters in 1933, a wave measured at 112 feet tall. That's an 11-story building made of water, moving at highway speeds. For context, modern missiles, you can shoot them down, deploy countermeasures. You have warning systems, defense protocols. Against a rogue wave, you have seconds to pray. Now let me tell you why this matters beyond just engineering and physics. Between 2005 and 2015, rogue waves are believed to have sunk over 20 large ships worldwide. But that's just what we know about. Here's a story that haunts the U.S. Coast Guard to this day. In 1982, the Marine Electric, a coal cargo ship, was hit by a rogue wave off the coast of Virginia. The wave was so powerful, it cracked the ship's hull like an eggshell. Within minutes, the ship went down. Of the 34 crew members, only 3 survived. The water was 39 degrees. The survivors later described the wave as appearing out of nowhere like a mountain. But civilian vessels aren't the only victims. In 1995, the Queen Elizabeth II, one of the largest ocean liners ever built, was struck by a rogue wave in the North Atlantic. The captain described it as coming out of the darkness like a wall. The wave was over 90 feet tall. It hit the reinforced bridge windows with such force that the captain thought they would shatter. If those windows had broken at that speed and height, everyone on the bridge would have died instantly. U.S. Navy sailors share stories in private forums that never make official reports. Stories of waves that shouldn't exist, of water where water shouldn't be, of equipment failures that saved lives by seconds. One retired sailor I spoke with put it this way: With missiles, you fight back. With rogue waves, you just try to survive. For decades, scientists didn't even believe rogue waves existed. They called them sailors' myths, tall tales, exaggerations. Then, on January 1st, 1995, everything changed. An oil platform in the North Sea called Draupner recorded a wave that was 84 feet tall in seas where the average wave was 40 feet. The wave was measured by laser instruments. Undeniable proof. Scientists call this the Draupner wave, and it forced them to rewrite ocean physics. They discovered something terrifying. Rogue waves form through a process called constructive interference. Imagine this. Multiple wave patterns traveling through the ocean suddenly align perfectly. Their energies combine, and for just a few seconds, they create a superwave. Then it disappears as quickly as it formed. It's like the ocean briefly concentrates all its power into one spot. But here's what keeps Navy commanders awake at night. Recent studies using satellite data have revealed that rogue waves happen far more often than anyone thought. Not once in a lifetime, not even once a year. They happen multiple times per day across the world's oceans. In 2020, researchers using satellite imagery identified over 700 rogue waves in just 3 weeks of data collection. That means right now, as you're watching this video, there are rogue waves forming somewhere in the ocean, and we still can't predict where or when. The U.S. Navy's newest ships are being built with reinforced hulls and higher bridges, specifically because of this threat. They're designing warships around waves, not weapons. Think about that. Now here's the part that should concern everyone. Climate scientists are discovering that rogue waves are becoming more frequent and more powerful. Why? 2 reasons. First, warming oceans are creating more extreme weather patterns. Stronger storms mean more chaotic wave systems, which means more opportunities for rogue waves to form. Second, melting ice caps are changing ocean currents. These currents help regulate wave patterns. When you disrupt them, you create unpredictable wave behavior. In 2020, a study published in Nature found that rogue wave incidents have increased by 30% over the past 2 decades in certain shipping lanes. The North Atlantic, where the U.S. Navy regularly operates, is becoming a rogue wave hotspot. And here's the kicker. Most of our global trade moves by ship. Food, medicine, technology, everything crosses these oceans. The same oceans where invisible 80-foot walls of water can appear without warning, the U.S. Navy is racing to develop detection systems. They're using AI, satellite monitoring, and advanced radar. But as of 2024, there's still no reliable way to predict when or where a rogue wave will strike. One naval commander I spoke with said it perfectly. We can track a missile from launch to impact across 1,000 miles, but we can't see a wave forming 1,000 feet away. That's the reality our sailors face every single day. So the next time you see a U.S. Navy ship, remember this. Those sailors aren't just defending against enemy nations. They're sailing into battle against nature itself, against an enemy that's invisible, unpredictable, and more powerful than any weapon humanity has ever created. Rogue waves don't care about your technology. They don't care about your training. They are the ocean reminding us that despite all our power, nature will always have the final word. Now here's what I want you to do. If this video opened your eyes to something you never knew existed, hit that like button right now. Subscribe to this channel because we're diving deep into the threats and mysteries that most people never hear about. Drop a comment below. Have you ever experienced or witnessed a rogue wave? Or do you know someone in the Navy? Share their stories. And here's the big one. Share this video with someone who thinks they know everything about the ocean. Trust me, they don't. The algorithm only shows you what's popular. Help me make important stories popular. Share this now. I'll see you in the next one. Stay curious, stay safe, and respect the ocean.